All right, so on with our discussion of darkness and light. I am in Photoshop now and got a really good request from a client for this particular shirt and wanted to go over doing this shirt with you all, right? So we're talking about darkness and light, and this image in particular, we're going to separate the light from the other colors here. So when you're in Photoshop, first thing you do is you get your image placed on the canvas by going File, New, starting a new canvas of your choice, then go into the internet, finding your image and copying it or downloading it, and then if you downloaded it, you would go File, Place that image, and you would get it into the center of your screen. Then you want to convert it to a smart object if it hasn't been created to a smart object yet. What that does is make it a copy of the original that's retained inside the program. And you can know that by the small black and white icon denotation there. Please excuse me, we're having some renovations done, and there might be some noise while this is going on, but I hope you can hear me and watch as we're going along. So it's been converted to a smart object. Once I do that, I can open the smart object by double clicking on it, hitting OK and going inside. That smart object will give me the option of working through the channels. And once the channels are open, I'll have the option of beginning to separate those channels. As you can see here, I'm going to go through and see which one has the greatest contrast, right? And I'm selecting the contrast that's in between the gold and the white there. So I'm going to try the red again. That's a very good contrast. Or the blue. That's a so-so contrast. So I'm going to start with the red. And actually, for this particular exercise, we haven't cut out the entire bowl yet. So I'm going to start with the blue. Actually, let me check the green once more. I'm going to start with the green this time. It's a very clean channel. The green probably has the least grains in it, meaning the graininess of your camera shows up the least in the green channel. And we're going to begin cutting this out. That's done by going Control L on the channel. And again, we're separating the light from the dark. So we're going to bring up the dark very far, all the way up until it begins to be darker than the shadow behind it. We want to make sure that the shadow does not get included. So once that shadow starts to get dark, we can start bringing up the white, but then we want to also make sure that we don't lose the edge of our piece on one side over here, if you can see me highlighting that. So I'm going to back off until that's solid, just solid enough that I can hit OK at that point. Go to my dodge tool. I'm going to take my dodge tool and I'm going to draw all of this area out. You do have to be careful with the dodge tool. It will take off parts of your image that you want to keep, but I can get pretty close without worrying about it erasing anything that I do happen to touch that's dark enough. So I go and I continue to erase all of that. I'm going to get rid of that pretty much completely because I don't want it to show back up on me really later. I should make my brush bigger by hitting the right bracket. Keep erasing. Then I'll shrink it by hitting the left bracket and get close. Now, I've gotten most of that out. And what I can do is hit Control L again and force out the white first since I can see it. Actually, that's incorrect. Always start with your black so you don't lose your piece. So I kind of want to stop right around there. Actually, I'll just cancel for right now and go to the burn tool, which is just below the dodge tool. You click on the small arrow in the bottom right of the icon and change tools. The burn tool is under the dodge tool. Hit the right bracket for me to make that larger. And I'm going to burn that in to make that edge of the pot darker, so that when I hit Control L this time and start making the entire piece black level higher, I'm keeping it. Now I'm starting to see a lot of shadows and stuff showing up, so I'm bringing the white level higher. Now I'll go back to the black level, bring it all the way in. I'm trying to have it pretty much just a solid black and white image with a little bit of gray. Then I'll switch to the brush tool, right bracket, and make it larger, and fill in everything that is needing to be kept inside as black. So I will hold shift and the right bracket to make my brush harder, and I will continue to brush all of that out, and it's pretty much in there. I'm gonna touch this one edge that I can see a little strange there. I'm gonna shrink my brush and get this and this, and this edge I should get tighter in. I just messed up, so I'll stop and actually Control Z that last section, and I won't worry about what it erases over there. I will drag it down to the selection tool at the bottom of this. My marching ants will come up, separating my light from dark. There you go. I'll hit Control Shift I to switch those marching ants around, reverse select with that. And now I see this, but I did not take out nearly enough. You can see down here, I did not take out nearly enough when I was burn tool or dodge tooling, and so I have all of the shadows still in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to the marquee and then to the refine edge under the marquee, and it's going to give me some options. This is a pretty clean edge around most of it, and for the technique that I'm doing, this is more than fine. And since the edge is pretty much solid, what I'll do is go ahead and say OK, and I won't worry about this little edge that's going to be kept, and I will go ahead and mask it. It knocks out that background and keeps it solid in the center, giving me my image on a transparent background. So then I can hit Control S, which is going to save this smart object. Then I can close this smart object, and it will take me back to my original piece, and we're going to try and do a pretty fast selection. So now that it's back in the original image, you can see that it is now all together cut out. What I'm aiming to do with this particular image is that I'm going to, and leaving it as a whole piece on the canvas, I am going to make a new layer. Then I'm going to select, actually I'll go to that object, the smart object pot, Control T. Smart object allows me to make it larger without disrupting my original, which is retained inside of the smart object. So I'm going to keep dragging it as large as I can. I want this full shirt size. And I'll hit enter. And then once it settles, it is now large enough to work with and pretty much retained its texture. We're going to go and do some adjustment layers for levels first, which is the same that we did while we were in the channels palette before, but this time we're just going to use the white control, white input, and force it up brighter because I want to retain more of that. You'll see why in the technique I'm doing in just a second, which is going to select color range, selecting that color, but it's not tight enough, so hit cancel. I'm going to have to cancel that. figure out why there's so much schmutz in there. Now, what I can do is go into the piece here, hit Control in my new layer, hit D, so I'm adding black and white, my default colors, and hit Alt Delete to fill the background so I can see. It is actually clear, and that thing was just giving me a little bit of a strange readout. So I'll go Select, Color Range. I will select this whitish stripe on here so I know I'm getting white, and now you see what I'm going to have selected. So I will bump that up so I can retain more, all of that, and I'll track it back so I'm getting less of that excess shadow that I don't want. Somewhere around in there, the whole pot is there, okay. And then my marching ants have showed up, so I can go to my upper layer. I can hit D again so I know I have a white, and Control Delete this time to fill that selection with white, and then I can deselect it. Now if you need to see what it's done, I can turn off the original layer, and there's our pot, okay? Now I feel kind of like I kept too much of it, but it's good for now. I'm going to go to my original. I'm going to turn off my new layer. I'm going to get my pen tool out, and I'm going to cut out the gold using the pen tool by clicking, dragging, clicking, dragging, clicking, dragging, clicking, dragging, clicking, dragging. You want to put it in each corner really and drag until your lines match the original contour that you're trying to retain. And when you change direction, you can hold the Alt key and it will allow you to change direction. Sometimes you would zoom in by hitting Control plus, and that's going to allow you to get really close into the image, which probably is a smarter way to start this off to begin with, but I like to go fast sometimes. You can see how far away my line is from going fast and staying far away. Hold the Alt key. And when you've completed the path, you can go to your path selection tool, the white arrow, and tighten it up by moving the path in tighter and closer. You want to make sure to go to your paths palette, double click to save your path. So when you are done, you can hit Control 0 and it'll bring it back to full screen. Then on your paths palette, you go down to the bottom and you hit the load path as a selection, and then all that's loaded. You can go back to layer 1 where it is and hit Control J, which should make a copy of your gold, which you can turn on with your white, and it's bananas. This is Ingenious. Check us out. Stay tuned. If you go to ingenious.net, you'll be able to see the completed part of this shirt. And on the rest of the show today, I want to continue with the discussion of lightness and dark. But there is this. What this image was about is when the Japanese men broken objects, they fixed them with gold. They believe when something has suffered damage and has a history, it becomes more beautiful. And this is the image we created.